Wild places and woodlands as a source of medicine cannot be underestimated. Just as we've got a supermarket full of food here in the woods, we also have a pharmacy of medicine, and it's all free. Learning to identify and then hunt down edible plants is a great way to get to know your local woodland. While we're here to gather plants for our health, it's important that we avoid harm. So there are a few little rules for our own health and safety that we need to follow when we're foraging. First of all, please don't go picking plants and putting them into your system unless you know 100% what kind of plant it is, or you're with someone who really knows their stuff. So while I'm standing here next to some very beneficial plants, some of them can make life a bit unpleasant, such as the stinging nettle. We will gather that and use it for health benefits, but it can really sting you if you touch it. Similarly, we've got a dead gorse plant here. It's very jaggy and spiny, and if those spines get into your skin, they can be quite unpleasant to pull out. They're like nasty splinters. Your plant ID needs to be good. You wouldn't want to ingest this foxglove in front of me. To mistake it for another plant, to eat it, or to ingest the juice can cause you to die because it will stop your heart. Wild herbal medicine can be incredibly simple. You don't even have to take the plant home or do anything to it in order to gain the best of its benefits. A case in point is wild aromatherapy. With this hawthorn tree here, we can demonstrate, because it's May and the hawthorn blossom is fully open. It's also called May blossom. Just to walk past a hawthorn tree in May is enough to give you a hint that it's a great aromatherapy plant. And all you have to do is take a good whiff of the blossoms. Inhaling that a few times brings wonderful feelings of peace and calm and bliss. Well, it does for me anyway. And hawthorn is traditionally used in herbal medicine to treat the heart, sometimes physically with heart arrhythms, or to reduce hypertension, and also to treat emotional conditions such as depression and melancholy. It's a great calmative and mood lifter, and all it takes is to put your nose in those blossoms and inhale deeply and gently a few times over. Legend has it that Merlin the magician was seduced into giving up his earthly powers and going into the underworld by the maiden Nimue, enchanted by her songs, under the blossoms of a huge hawthorn tree on a warm May summer evening. And I don't blame him. In May, not only do the blossoms open and all the flowers emerge, but so do the insects who come and feed off the flowers, or off the insects that feed off the flowers. You may be able to see buzzing around me the mayflies, who live a short but beautiful life, and they're quite pleasant and harmless. However, this time of year heralds the arrival of the dreaded midge, the scourge of outdoor lovers in Scotland. And this damp weather, which has been followed by warm weather, they're already starting to come out. What do we do? What natural medicine can we find in the wild? Well, there is one. I've got to find me an alder tree, and I've got to find it now. Here we have a lovely golden flower in this native woodland comfrey. Comfrey can occasionally be confused with horrible, smelly, poisonous plants such as stinking hedge woundwort, or indeed with foxglove. However, when we see these golden bell-shaped flowers, we know we're safe. We have these lovely hairy, fleshy leaves, and it's quite a rampant plant, so we can pick a fair bit of it. It's a great cell regenerator, a fast healer, and it has a very ancient tradition and was said to be able to do remarkable things. Now, in the old days, comfrey was known as knit bone. It was said to be able to knit bone and other tissues back together. And we have remnants of a couple of old spells from early Ireland and ancient Germany that suggest this spell was used with comfrey to knit bones back together. So, back in the early Middle Ages, if I'd broken my finger or sprained it in some way, I'd put the comfrey on and I'd be saying something like a story of the old gods and how, say, their horse sprained its fetlock or whatever, and I'd be saying we put blood to blood, bone to bone, flesh to flesh, sinew to sinew, etc. The comfrey would be wrapped around the injured limb or digit. It would be changed, perhaps even several times a day, but people have sworn that even that can regenerate the cells of dead tissues very quickly. Closer to the surface of the skin, it can be used to heal cuts and grazes, although it's suggested that you shouldn't put comfrey healing ointment on deeper wounds because the skin cells will regenerate quickly and you may trap infection underneath. Here's a tree commonly found in woodlands, wetlands and even parks all over Britain. This is the willow tree. Now there are 36 different subspecies of willow in Britain. It can be tricky to identify them all, and to be honest with you, I'm no expert, but this looks like it could be a hybrid between the grey and white willow. It is a very important medicinal plant because its bark contains salicylic acid, and this has been used to synthesize painkiller drugs such as aspirin. Now, long before scientists began researching properties of this plant in laboratories, like many others, ordinary folk knew about its properties and didn't hesitate to use it. So, again, with wild herbal medicine, it's as easy